What is up? I am Jake, and this is Totally Flow, episode 3. And I decided that today I wanted to go on a little nature walkabout. So that's why I'm surrounded by all of this greenery. I decided to go on a hike and take my camera, take my whole podcast setup, and just go for it. Because why not? It's a beautiful winter day. The spring is almost here, and I just wanted to capture the end of the season on camera and just chat about my inspirations of the week, the goodness of this last week since episode 2. So yeah, I'm out here in the San Joaquin Nature Preserve. I've been literally walking for like 2 hours trying to find the perfect lighting setup with all of the greenery. And I one of my favorite trails is this trail called the Lost Trail. And every time I come to this nature area, I always try to find the Lost Trail, but it's so hard to find. It's because it's like a trail within a trail, and it's just so perfectly named, the Lost Trail, because you kind of have to get lost in order to find it. So when I got here, I decided, okay, I want to film at the end of the Lost Trail. Why not? Let's give it a go. And once I got there, I decided, nope, this isn't it. So I kept walking to the other end of the Lost Trail and set my camera up, everything. Nope, wasn't it. So I just kept walking and walking and walking. And finally, I found this perfect little nook right as the sun is going down. The golden light is getting thrown upon me. And yeah, so many people were asking me, are you taking pictures of the birds? And I was like, no, I'm actually recording a little podcast. So that is where we are. We are in this moment, in this now, flowing in the waters of life. Whether you're watching or listening, you're here with me. I'm so grateful that you are tuned in and just ready to talk about inspiration, flow, life, all of the above. So this last week, I was editing episode 2, as well as the trailer for this whole podcast that I shot on 16 millimeter. I'm kind of like editing these videos out of order, but once they all get published, it'll all be in its perfect order. But this week I spent a lot of time on the computer, and I think like most people that are in their desks all day staring at a screen, it really does, it really impacts my vision a lot. Like it makes my eyes kind of burn. So after finishing my videos last week, I was really feeling like a computer break. I was feeling like I needed a little reprieve, a little nature time, a little time where I could get my hands dirty and be just outside. And serendipitously, my first moment of flow of the week, my brother Taylor called me and asked me if I wanted to do some yard work for him. And normally, I think my answer to that question would be absolutely not. Why would I want to do yard work on a random Thursday afternoon? But his question came at the perfect time in my week, in my flow, and I decided, hey, why not make a couple extra bucks and do some manual labor? So on Thursday, I went over to Tay's house, and for the entire day, I lifted rocks, these like lava rocks, lifted them, filling wheelbarrows full, and then wheelbarrowing the wheelbarrow into a type of dumpster thing. And later on in the day, I was picking weeds, and at the end of the day, we went and dumped all of these rocks and weeds off at their perfect location. But after the day was over, my body was so sore, so so used. I was using so many random muscles that I don't usually, access in the average week, filming videos and on my computer and whatnot. So once that night was over, or once that day was over, I just felt so fatigued, so exhausted, but in the best possible way. And that night, I just sat on the couch and cracked open a beer and was just filled with so much gratitude for both the opportunity to really use my body, gratitude for health, that I could do all of that physical labor and not be in pain, or I mean, be in a little bit of pain, but like not be injured. And most of all, so grateful for all of the gardeners in my whole life, because gardeners do this type of work every day. And this experience just opened my eyes to how hard the work is, how much time and energy it takes. And just want to say shout out to all of the gardeners in the world. You work so hard, and you are appreciated. Your hard work is seen. So that was kind of like my flow of the week, but not so much inspiration, just felt good. But my inspiration of the week, number one, is a film that I watched today called Morning of the Earth. It is a surf film by Albi Faizan. I believe it was first filmed and released in either the 60s or the 70s. And just recently, in 2022, a small studio in LA re-released the film after remastering it, recoloring it, which basically means that they take the old film negative and they scan it in the highest possible resolution that they can, and then they color grade the digital footage to be more crisp. So they decrease the shadows, increase the highlights, increase the saturation, and just make the image look very gorgeous. Re-edit the sound, all of that type of stuff. And I actually tried to watch this film last week, and I accidentally came across an old version of the film, a low-res version, and I accidentally bought it. So I buy this low-res version on YouTube, and I immediately knew that it wasn't the proper version of the film, and successfully was able to return the film, which is kind of hard to do on YouTube. Like, once you rent something, it's hard to return it. But going through many help chat rooms with YouTube, I was able to return it. And it kind of just like left a weird taste in my mouth when it came to the film. I was like, you know what? I wanted to watch it. Had to go through all that rigmarole to get my money back. So this week came around, and I was listening to a podcast episode with an artist that I really like called Ty Williams. And in the podcast, he happened to mention the film Morning of the Earth. So that was kind of a moment of flow that made me pay attention, be present, and really ask myself, Jake, why didn't you end up pursuing the correct version of the film? You wanted to watch it, you failed, and then you gave up. So after listening to the podcast, I immediately decided that I was going to see the correct version, and that's what I did. I got it on Vimeo, paid $5, and this film rocks. Oh my gosh. If you love surf movies, if you love beautiful music, this is the film for you. It's a silent film, which I didn't know, which just means there's no dialogue. It's just all score. But the film is just beautifully made, and it's all about these surfers that go to these exotic waves and live off the land, and it just has a really natural, beautiful essence to the movie. And as the movie progresses, coincidentally or maybe on purpose, the waves get bigger. So as the movie swells, the swell gets bigger. And the music also gets more intense as the movie goes along. So I really loved, I'd say, most of all, the music. I think there's an album on Spotify if you just want to listen to it. That's The Morning of the Earth original remastered soundtrack. But the music and the visuals and just a beautiful film. Highly recommend. That's Inspo of the Week number one. Makes me want to whip out my 16 millimeter camera again and go film another movie. So, inspo of the week number 2 has got to be a whole subsect of YouTube that I'm calling film photography tube, which is basically a whole bunch of channels that are devoted to film photography. This last week, I came across this new channel called Sunny16, and it's this collective of 4 people who make a lot of content about film, about digital photography, and after checking out their channel, I kind of just went down this YouTube rabbit hole of watching so many different photographers talk about their film stocks, their cameras, and most of the videos in this genre of YouTube kind of have a similar structure. It usually starts, Act 1 is the photographer talking about the camera, the film stock, the place that they're at. And then Act 2 is basically them shooting and just vibing. And I think the thing that I love most about this subgenre of YouTube is that it really doesn't have an Act 3, because the whole video is them taking photos and then you instantly see the photo. Going to a new place, taking a photo, you instantly see a photo. And it's that type of instant gratification that just feels really satisfying, and it's really pleasing to watch. And then I guess Act 3 is them talking about the results of the images. But I really like those types of videos because it makes you feel less like entertainment and more like you're just along for the ride. You're a part of the journey. You're with the film photographer as they're questing to take beautiful photos. So some of the photographers I've been watching have been Willem, Graincheck, Sunny16, like I was saying. Yeah, those are, I guess, the 2 that come to the top of mind. So check those out. Let's see. What is my inspiration of the week number 3? Oh, yeah. Inspo of the week number 3 is Sagebrush. Because today I am in the coastal chaparral, my favorite and arguably the best ecosystem. And right, not next to me, but all throughout this walk, there's been this plant called sagebrush. And it's not sage. It kind of looks more like lavender. And it has a very specific aroma. And this aroma is so deeply tied into my memories because I've just grown up in Southern California, been on so many hikes and nature adventures. And whenever you're in the coastal chaparral, you got to be on the lookout for sagebrush. Because my favorite thing to do is you take a little stem of the sage and you rub it in your fingers, and then you smell the broken up bits of the plant, and the essential oils come out, and it just has this like beautiful, I guess I don't know how to describe the scent other than it smells really nice. It smells like the sage that you know, but it also has a sweetness. It's like has a floral sweetness that is really nice. So highly recommend the next time that you are in California to go check out the coastal chaparral. Go find yourself some sagebrush and smell that stuff because it smells really nice. And supposedly it has antimicrobial abilities, and it has a lot of natural use cases. I was watching some YouTube videos before coming out here to get more of a scientific insight on the sagebrush, but I don't really remember any right now, other than it's kind of like nature's hand sanitizer. So that's kind of like my inspo of the week number 3. And I guess lastly, I just want to say shout out to this absolutely stunning natural landscape that I'm in right now. I feel so at peace. We are in the waters of life at this moment. We're flowing in the current stream of now. And I just feel so at peace and full of joy to have the freedom to be able to come out here on this random Wednesday afternoon and to walk until my heart's content, and to finally be able to throw my camera down, throw my podcast setup up, and to have these birds flying around and just be able to be present in this moment and chat with you, the Totally Flow community. I hope you like this nature podcast setup, because I'm really stoked on it, and I'd love to go more places, go deep nature, and just have my whole setup. It looks so funny to have like a computer and all this tech equipment out here, but I love it. So if you like this video, give me a like, give me a subscribe. If you're on Spotify, give us a follow, give us a rating. Thanks for tuning in. And hopefully next week we'll have a guest. It's a little harder than I was anticipating to book creative guests, but it makes sense because creative people are busy doing lots of creative things and creative projects. So hopefully soon we'll get another guest on the show, and let's see if I can think of one more inspiration right off of the dome before we go. Let me just breathe for a moment. My last inspiration of the week is actually a YouTube video as well. And it's this video that I play most days when I'm doing meditation. And it's just nature sounds, and it has this hum, this unique frequency that feels really nice to listen to, and it allows me to kind of like zen out and be still and kind of like let my mind be at ease and go loose. And yeah, in this moment, I guess, of peace, I am grateful for that video because it is a source of peace, and it makes me feel so good, so chilled out. And I'd love to leave you, the listener, the audience, with maybe a call to action, or I don't know, I don't really like that phrase. Maybe just like an opportunity of contemplation. Listen to this video that I'm referencing and try to just get a little 5 minutes of relaxation. It doesn't even have to be meditation. It could just be you being in the present and embracing a little bit of slowness. And let me know of any things that come to you in your moments of zen, in your moments of stillness. See if any inspiration pinpoints come forward and reveal themselves to you. That's my offer to you this week. Let me know if you like these videos, if you want to see more of this, less of that, whatever. Thanks for tuning in to Totally Flow. I love you. Bless you. Thank you. See you soon.